Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled you're here today because we're tackling one of the most fascinating challenges in the entire future of tech. Think about it. When AI agents actually start doing our work, how are they going to pay for things? We hear constantly about autonomous agents booking flights or buying research, but beneath the surface, the actual plumbing of machine-to-machine commerce, it's a total wild frontier right now. Today, we're going to look at the massive gap between what crypto-native agents can do today and what heavily governed enterprise agents are actually allowed to do. And more importantly, we'll explore how a new solution called Metastamp Pockets is attempting to bridge that exact gap. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap to demystify things today. First up, AI agents paying tolls. Second, filtering the hype. Third, the enterprise wallet blocker. Fourth, Pockets enterprise payment wedge. And finally, unlocking agentic commerce. All right, let's kick things off with part one, AI agents paying tolls. If you think machine-to-machine payments are just sci-fi, well, they're not. They are absolutely live right now. Take a look at this staggering number. By late April 2026, Coinbase reported over 165 million cumulative transactions on their X402 protocol, which, by the way, is just an updated version of the classic HTTP 402 payment-required web standard. And those transactions? Initiated by roughly 69,000 active agents. So for the skeptics who say agents can't pay tolls yet, they're demonstrably wrong. Agents are already autonomously paying real tolls at scale with zero human intervention. Now let's move into part two, filtering the hype. Now, what's really interesting about this is that we have to look much closer at the numbers to separate the noise from the signal. Headlines might scream about $600 million in annualized agent commerce, but that number is highly inflated. When analysts actually looked at the on-chain data, they found that genuine third-party commerce is a mere fraction of that, roughly $28,000 a day in real on-chain X42 volume around March 2026. So that massive headline number, it's essentially a mirage built on crypto-native test flows. So why the huge discrepancy? Honestly, because the current volume is incredibly messy. A massive chunk of that early surge was driven by meme coin farming, like this pay-to-mint game called Ping. Analysts estimated that in late 2025, about 81% of the volume was actually gamed, meaning wash trading or self-dealing, where the buyer and seller are practically the exact same entity. In fact, daily transactions dropped 92% from their December peak. But here is the absolutely crucial takeaway. The demand is stabilizing. It's shifting heavily toward high-frequency sub-dollar payments for APIs, data, and inference. The capability works, it's shipping, but genuine commercial demand is just getting started. Which brings us to part three, the enterprise wallet blocker. So if the technology is working, why aren't massive Fortune 500 companies deploying purchasing agents today? Well, it essentially comes down to a tale of two very different worlds. On one hand, you have crypto-native agents that are out there right now, wild and free. They use USDC stablecoins and decentralized, uncontrolled wallets to just go pay for data. But on the other hand, we have enterprise agents, think Salesforce, Agentforce, or Microsoft Copilot. These are heavily governed walled gardens. They operate on metered internal credits. Enterprise platforms simply do not hand these agents a funded external wallet to go spend money autonomously on the open web. There was a strategic discussion recently between Metastamp and an enterprise analytics leader named Tommy, and he completely hit the nail on the head with this. He realized his internal B2B agents actually had the reasoning skills, but they completely lacked the spending power. If an enterprise agent wants to license a high-quality piece of media or structured data today, it literally can't. It doesn't have a wallet. You see, the real barrier here isn't the technology, it's governance. Enterprises have strict, non-negotiable requirements. They absolutely need to know who holds custody of the funds. They require a rigorous audit trail and a receipt for every single microtransaction. They need strict approval flows and spend caps. Standard crypto wallets simply fail to provide the identity and attribution that an enterprise compliance department demands. So the crucial point is how we fix this, which brings us to part four, Pockets enterprise payment wedge. How do we connect these two isolated worlds? This is exactly where Metastamp Pockets comes in, basically operating in completely uncontested white space. Think about it. Crypto rails have the HTTP 402 technology, for sure, but they don't have licensed creative content or enterprise receipts. Traditional licensing plays, they have the content, but they completely lack the autonomous machine-to-machine payment rails. Pockets combines the whole shebang. It brings together the per-pole HTTP 402 protocol, licensed intellectual property, standard fiat funding, which means no crypto wallet is required for the buyer at all, and, critically, those essential enterprise receipts. Let's walk through exactly how this happens in practice, because it's a super elegant, single round trip. Step 1, the enterprise agent discovers the content using the Model Context Protocol, which is an open standard for connecting AI to data sources. Step 2, it attempts to pull the data and hits an HTTP 402 payment required wall, presenting the machine-readable terms. Step 3, it pays automatically using a pre-funded fiat credit account, kind of like an AWS bill. And finally, step 4, it instantly receives the licensed content, the provenance metadata, and that all-important enterprise receipt. And this isn't just about legality. It's a real game changer for efficiency. By pulling pre-indexed content through an MCP server instead of sending an agent out to slowly scrape and parse a messy website, developers are achieving sub-30 millisecond retrieval. That's incredibly fast. Plus, because the data is perfectly structured, it uses roughly 98% fewer tokens. At scale, that translates to massive compute and cost savings for developers and platforms alike. All right, let's wrap things up with part 5, unlocking agentic commerce. And this brilliantly illustrates what the underlying economy of all this actually looks like. Once you have the compliance, the speed, and the payment rails in place, true micropayments are suddenly viable. Pockets takes a 15% platform fee, meaning a massive 85% goes directly to the creator. This works even on a fraction of a penny because the enterprise funds their account upfront. The actual per-pull transaction happens on an internal ledger, completely bypassing those credit card swipe fees that usually kill micropayment models. Creators just cash out via Stripe whenever they hit a threshold. So what exactly is the agent buying? They are buying pockets. These are pre-indexed, priced, and highly discoverable pieces of legally sound content. Every single pocket features an immutable watermark, basically a p-hash, which tracks the exact fingerprint of the data, alongside attested rights. This means if an enterprise is training a model or building an output, they know exactly where the intellectual property came from. It totally eliminates the legal gray areas of rampant web scraping. This whole framework, it's not just some niche developer tool. It is preparing for an absolute tidal wave. Gartner predicts that by 2028, 90% of all B2B buying will be intermediated by AI agents. We are talking about over $15 trillion of B2B spend flowing through agent exchanges. The governed, receipted, and auditable spending infrastructure that Metastamp Pockets is building is racing to meet this exact inevitable market demand. The agentic economy is literally already here. It's just unevenly distributed. We've seen that crypto agents are out there transacting millions of times, while enterprise agents have been stuck waiting on the sidelines for the right compliance tools. Pockets provides the auditable bridge to finally cross that gap. So, I'll leave you with a thought to chew on. When your enterprise agents finally get a wallet, what will they buy? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.